The all-new Polo 9. Small on the outside, big on the inside. Wait a minute. Is it a Polo 8 or a Polo 9? Maybe it's a 10. But then last time I checked, my homie drives a 12. This needs some address. Welcome to yet another episode on Carville, where everything meets anything cars. I'm your presenter, Calvin, and if you are tuned in right now, which means you have subscribed to the channel and you've been waiting for content, well, here it is then. Today's episode will be looking at the Volkswagen Polo evolution, since it debuted in 1975 to the present 2022 model. Make sure you get yourself a piece of paper and a pen. We don't want to hear nothing about a Polo 16 or a 20, at least not yet. Okay, before we even carry on, I'm going to make this video as simple as I possibly can. And I think I know what the wagon fell off. It's the Golf 8, isn't it? Isn't it? Well, let me rectify that for you now. In 1974, the Volkswagen Group presented the first generation Golf, aka the Rabbit, as a modern front-wheel drive hatchback to replace the Beetle. Note, this vehicle gave birth to the City Golf in 1984. For the South African market only. In 1975, they released a smaller version of the Golf 1, which was initially an Audi 50, rebadged to the Mark I Volkswagen Polo. Now let's play spot the difference, shall we? In the year 1979, Volkswagen released a sedan variant of the Golf 1, with rectangular lights instead, which was named the Jetta Mark I, for those who needed the extra boot space over the small hatchback. Due to its success, the Polo Mark II was released in 1981 with a longer body focusing on overall passenger and luggage space. In 1991, it received a modernizing facelift, letting go of the rounded look design of the Mark I. In 1983, we saw the introduction of the second generation Golf, which was slightly larger in size in terms of wheel size, exterior, and interior dimensions, while keeping the rounded design look of the Golf 1. Following the Mark II Golf was the second generation of the Jet, which was released in 1984. The car was larger, heavier, and more spacious than the car is based on, the Golf 2. And this led to its success as a family sedan. I would know, my dad owned one at some point in time during an era of some sort. The Golf 3 debuted in 1991 and slightly grew in comparison with its predecessor, while the wheelbase remained unchanged this time around. Note, this was the great introduction of the 2.8-litre VIII engines. The third generation Jetta was presented in 1992, with the design more aerodynamic than the previous version, and it was styled based on the Mark III Golf. Hence, most engines were shared amongst the two models. A few years down the line, the completely new and revised Mark III Polo was produced in 1994 and was available in either 3 or 5-door hatchback. In 1996, it received a familiar facelift, which we all grew to love in Mozambique. That was available as either a 5-door hatchback called a Player or a 4-door sedan called a Classic. Speaking of which, homeboy Tevin owns one. The Mark IV Golf was introduced to the market in 1997, and it was not far off from the Golf 3 styling and design language. It was more aerodynamic and sleek. Note, this was the birth of the 3.2 R32 VIII engine for some countries. God level. Right after, the production of the fourth generation Jetta began in 1999, which was styled based on its larger sibling, the Passat, but shared most engines and drivetrains with the Mark IV Golf. In 2001, the Mark IV Polo was unveiled to the market, which was larger in dimension compared to the previous generation. The most noticeable change was the quad front light. In 2005, it received a facelift which was well known as a Botwa in Mzansi, which was also available as a GTI for the first time. Note: in 2010, the first generation Polo Vivo was based on this model, as a replacement to the Volkswagen City Golf, which ended production in 2009. In 2003, the Mark V Golf was introduced, with a much better modernized design language, featuring some slick lines, which made it more aerodynamic than the rest of the Golfs. The top of the line still ran the 3.2 R32 VR6 engine as the predecessor, putting down the power on all four wheels. As usual, Volkswagen marketed the sedan version of the Golf as the Jetta V in 2005. Easy, right? Why not? The Jetta V was larger in dimension as per usual and slicker than the previous generation. At this point, the introduction of the GLI was inevitable, sharing engines with the GTI Golf 5. Meanwhile, the Polo IV only received a facelift during this time, in 2005. That's where the mass confusion began. Because y'all thought it was a new car, right? Volkswagen only launched the 5th generation Polo in 2009. Mind you, this was after the Mark VI Golf was released. More of that later. The Polo Mark V was basically a giant leap for mankind, as it remained unchanged for the next 9 years, with only several facelifts during its run. And when I say several, I mean a lot of facelifts. This is where most of y'all got lost in the model lineup and started calling it a Polo 8, 10, some of you even called it a 12. Note, it's still a Mark V. At some point, the second generation Polo Vivo was actually based on the Mark V Polo. The year 2008 gave us the Carville by VIII. Round about the same time, Volkswagen debuted the Mark VI Golf, which was basically based on the Mark V Golf, but more aerodynamic and equipped with much more fancy interior features. Engines downsized, and we RIP'd the 3.2-litre R32 VR6 powerhouse for a more efficient 2-litre turbo. Following the Golf 6 and apparent release of the Polo V in 2009, the 6th generation Jetta was produced in 2010. The new model was larger and less expensive to manufacture compared to the previous generation. And as for the Polo 6, please pay attention guys. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button for more content like this. Like the video if you found it informative up to this point. Share with everyone you know, since we live in a Polo 9 generation. Wait, 12. Let's unconfuse the country. Polo 6 came in late. It was only launched in 2017, which was after the release of the Mark VII Golf in 2012, which we will get to in a minute. Note, the 6th generation Polo is still in production till this day. The facelift of the model arrived in 2021. It got a redesigned front and rear end featuring an LED light bar on the grille, while the rear light extends onto the tailgate. In 2012, the world was supposed to end according to a movie.
The world, as we know it, will soon come to an end.
The Mark VII Golf debuted regardless, and was slightly larger than the 6th. The Diesel Performance GTD model was introduced to the market at some point. Due to the success of the 7, the facelift was renamed the Golf 7.5, with upgraded exterior and interior bits, including animated tail indicators that most of y'all abused for no reason. The 7th generation Jetta was produced in 2018, right after the Polo VI was introduced. Sadly, the Jetta VII is not sold for South African market, since everyone prefers a Polo or a Golf instead. The current generation Golf VIII was released in 2019. I'm not a fan yet, so I won't say much. In conclusion, I hope that clears the whole Polo 8, 10 or 12 confusion. As always, thank you for tuning in yet another episode on Carville. Hit me up in the comment section below for... Just hit me up. I don't even know why. Just hit me up. Just say hi.